Thank you for joining us at Beerfish Fanatics. And this episode is actually brought to you by Whisker Seeker Tackle.
So make sure you guys go to whiskerseeker.com for all your catfishing gear.
Enjoy the episode, guys. All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Beerfish Fanatics. This is Grandy with Ma Pop Fishing. We have Mr.
Fishing Kit.
How you
I
doing
think
today?
I think you guys can figure out my name at this point.
I hope so. Wait, we might have some new listeners. You never
Oh,
know. You know.
Kit with Fishing Kit. There you go.
There you go. He's the Fishing Kit YouTube channel. So make sure everybody check it out. And the reason why I check it out, subscribe, because our podcast is on his channel too. So make sure you guys do that.
If you guys want the visual experience.
Exactly. Or download it. It's all good because we're on, like I said, all the platforms, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes. Hey, I don't know if I told you, dude, we're on Amazon Music too. So if anybody has Amazon Music, go there. Search us. You got Beerfish Fanatics, man. It's pretty cool, man. I saw that the other day, so we're good to go on that. So this week, thanks again to Bruno down there at the Lucky Horse in Des Moines, and also El Bait Shop. They donated some beer from Carol Brewing. Again, I'm doing the light one today, or at least my first beer. I'm doing the Carol Light. I really like this light beer. Super crisp. I'm telling you guys, anybody who loves Busch Light, try this beer, please. Oh, we were talking about, this is the one thing. Anybody who tries a Carol beer, who goes to Hy-Vee, goes to the brewery, whatever, do myself and Fishing Kit a favor. Take a picture, tag us, we want to see who's actually trying this beer that we're telling you guys to go and try out. So I guess I want to see it. They're not paying us or anything, but I just want to see how much we impact in regards to beer consumption of craft beer. So make sure you tag myself on Instagram, tag Fishing Kit, My Pop Fishing, either one. We want to see, and then definitely give some love out to them. So what are you drinking today, man?
I got the Carol IPA.
Nice.
I think this one's my favorite one from Carol Brewing. Yeah. But I'm also an IPA guy, so I'm kind of biased. And it's not too bitter. It's pretty subtle for an IPA.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, the alcohol content on the light beer is 4%. I think the IPA is 7. Is that right, Kit?
Correct. 7.
So it's not a bad beer. And if anybody's wondering, like the Carol Light, I think the Busch lattes, the Bud Lights are all like 4.2. So this is like, it's right spot on. So, but it has good flavor. So cheers, man.
Cheers.
Well, koozie. Cheers. Yeah.
Don't forget to get a koozie, guys.
Go to mypopfishing.com, get a koozie, help support us. Like I said, everyone, every little dollar helps us go get more beer. So that's the biggest thing, so we can talk more fishing, guys. But and I wanted to record this one with Fishing Kit today. We were just texting the other day, and we're just like, what should we talk about? And I'm thinking, ice fishing season is here. I mean, a lot of people all over north, I guess you can say the north part of I-80 on up towards Canada, all the states. I've been seeing tons and tons of ice, tons of people getting out there. So we wanted to talk a little bit more about ice fishing. I wanted to actually ask Fishing Kit a little bit more because he was just talking to me how he is getting his gear all lined up and everything. But I wanted to know, somebody else, like, what do they do? What does he recommend in regards to getting your gear set up for? Maybe I'm going out tomorrow or this weekend. So set up, wise, whether it's poles, lines, lures, all that good stuff. So let's start there, man. I mean, what's the first thing you do, man, when you're gearing up? Let's say this weekend's coming up, I'm going to go ice fishing, setup wise. So, I mean, what's the first step that you take, man, in regards to your pole setup and all that stuff? I guess let's start with that. Your ice poles and reels and stuff. What's the first thing you do, man?
All right, so I actually dug out my rods today. So pull them out of storage, and I just open it up and I try to assess what's going on, like how much line do I have on my reels. And before I put my rods away for storage, if I have reels on them, I'll loosen the drag all the way. But that's because I don't know, it's just, I think there's like springs and stuff in there. Mm-hmm. Kind of just want to keep that pressure off of those springs because it's been storing for since March. Yeah, I think that was the end of our season.
Yeah, but so probably like about anywhere between 8 to 10. Yeah, about 8 months or so. Holy cow! Yeah, you think about it. I mean, it's been there for a while. You don't want it to be the tension up. I'm glad you mentioned that because that was one thing, and I learned the hard way. So you know how when you guys are putting your ice rods and everything away, and sometimes when you put it on the hook lock thing, and you know how your pole kind of bends over a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Make sure anybody, I'm telling you, especially if you have custom rods, make sure loosen that up or just cut that line, cut that hook off, and let your pole be straight. What happened to me with one of my custom rods? I left it like just a little bit. It was maybe a half inch bent a little bit on the tip. Next year came and my pole stayed that way. So it was no longer straight because it was there for like 8 months that way. I maybe it was bad luck on my end for on the blank or whatnot, but I'm never doing that again. So make sure. I mean, you don't want to go through because it didn't ruin the pole, but it just kind of sucks when you have a curved pole when you're ice fishing, and it's like a noodle pole too. I was just like, that sucks.
Yeah, I guess it really starts with the end of last season in preparing for the next season.
Something like
Because
that.
yeah, those noodle poles, if they have pressure on them like for 8 or 9 months, they're gonna retain that memory.
Yeah, and it's sad, especially these custom rods. I mean, they're not cheap, and it's just sad when you see it's like, oh, especially if it's like one of your favorite poles, and it sucks because you can't fix it. I tried. You know what I tried to do? I laid it up against the wall for like a month or two to see if it would correct it. It didn't
Yeah.
correct it. It didn't correct it, man. And I actually didn't use that pole for 1 year, and I put it up against the wall just to see. It didn't correct it for whatever reason. It was weird. It sucked.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so back to what we were talking about.
Yep. Sorry.
As far as pulling rods out for this season, like I didn't do much. I just
Really?
opened up my case, then I just looked at how much line I have on the reels. Like a lot of people they'll switch out the line every season,
Hmm.
but my rods were in storage. I know on the spool it'll build memory, and that's why a lot of people will switch out their lines every year. Usually, when you spool up new line, anyways, you run it under warm water to kind of so it will lose that memory. I might do that instead of respooling all the lines because I got plenty of line on those spools. If I start breaking off when I'm fishing, then I might consider replacing that line. But yeah, I think now I'll just run those spools under hot water, kind of loosen up that memory so there isn't a whole bunch of line twists because there's going to be line twists. That line's been sitting in those spools for 10 plus months or
Yeah.
whatever.
Does that really work? Because I read about that before. I've never done it, like the hot water on the spool and on the line. You just how long do you put it under so it helps a little bit,
Uh,
or
like half an hour or something. Just
really
just just fill up like a little bowl with hot water and just stick your spools in there.
with the
And
line and everything?
yeah.
Okay, hey, I'm gonna try that. No, because I read about that, but I wasn't. I was like, I don't know. I never done that, so I mean, I guess if it hurt, it couldn't hurt it, right? I guess.
Right.
Yeah, so I'll definitely try that. What kind of line do you normally use when you ice? Because so I know there's big differences. I talked about this on a video of mine before, but do you use braid, fluoro, mono? I mean, does it depend just what you're fishing for when you're ice fishing? Because um, or what do you normally use, man? Because I right now, just everybody knows I don't use braid because I have bad luck with it in the past. I usually use either mono or fluoro. Um, but what do you normally use?
I think I go floral all the way except for one rod. That'll be the rod that I have on a jaw jacker. A jaw jacker sets the hook for you. But I know it's with braid. I don't. Well, I wasn't using like specifically ice braid or whatever. I just whatever I use for open water. I put that on there, and it was freezing. So and with the bait caster, you got your line roller. It's this thing that kind of just zigzags back and forth, and your line goes through it,
Hmm.
and that will build up with ice real quick
With braid?
with any kind of line. But braid, it absorbs water, and water freezes when it's less than freezing outside.
Yeah.
Other than that, I use all fluoro because fluoro is just a little bit more dense and it what's the dang word I'm trying to think of? It
Braid.
lets light pass through it. It doesn't bend the
Oh,
light as much as mono, so it's less visible.
Hmm.
And I only run for my panfish like 3 pound, and for my walleye rod, I run 4 pound on there. And I do have another rod. It's like another set line I have. It's I got a little bit heavier line. It's like 6 pound fluoro, but that's the rod I would use on like a iFish Pro this thing is called a buddy or bobber buddy. They're basically like tip ups, but you can use a rod and reel opposed to hand over hand.
You use same too for catfish? Like what pound do you use for when you're catfishing? Ice through the ice.
I just use my that 6 pound
Six pound.
and the 4 pound on my jigging rod or my so-called walleye rod. And then if I bring my bait caster, that's got 20 pound Power Pro on there,
Okay.
which I don't use too much. Like I don't jig with it because with the bait caster and that braid, I should probably replace that braid because braid, kind of loose. It's like it kind of loosens after over time. Then
Hmm.
that's gonna absorb water really fast.
Yeah.
But since I use it as a set line anyways, it's not that big of a deal because I'm not constantly reeling and stuff with it.
Yeah. One other thing, if anybody's listening about that jaw jacker, works great. Careful you don't. Number one, two things. One, don't hit you in the face when that thing sets up. It sets it pretty hard. Number two, don't use the most expensive rod you have on there. I did it on once before and I didn't do it right, and it snapped the tip on my rod. Yeah, I trust me, I had tears because it was a custom rod that my brother-in-law gave me. So it was actually one of the ones that I caught a lot of fish with too. I was pretty sad, man. So I'm never putting a custom rod in one of those jaw jackers again. I'm sorry, but just to give everybody a little heads up, just careful with that. But yeah, no, you know what? I was watching Jay Siemens the other day, one of his videos, and I have to agree with him. A lot of people don't use their second line. I think I'm going to start using that a lot more, second and third lines, because
Oh
sometimes,
yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So sometimes when you go ice fishing though, you don't even think about you just want to hurry up, dig the hole, and start fishing, and then you're like, it's gonna take me like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, to set up that hole. That's a huge tip. I'm definitely gonna be adamant about in regards to doing that, using your extra lines to catch more fish.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I got 3 lines. In Iowa, you get two with your license and you can pay for an additional line. So I'm using all 3 lines. I'm going to be jigging or whatever with one. Then I have two set lines, whether that's the jaw jacker or if it's on the iFish Pro or Bobber Buddy.
yeah, so all yours is all spinning reels, right? Your reels.
I got one bait caster.
One bait caster. Okay, because right now I think I got all spinning, and I think we talked about this at least on one of my videos on my channel, about types of reels that you should use or whatnot. I think it's all about preference. That's what we at the end of the day, it's just depending on what you're fishing for. A lot of people are going towards the inline more. It seems like, which is fine. Is like I said, it's all about preference. I just had bad luck with inline, and with my experience, so I kind of steered away from that. And I don't know. I mean, do you see? So your bait caster right now, that's primarily for your heavier fish, right?
Yeah,
Obviously.
that's for my I'm globbing a whole bunch of bait onto a hook, putting it on the jaw jacker.
There you go. So do you think you're ever gonna go towards inline? Have you ever even tried, man, inline?
Technically, baitcaster's an inline reel.
Yeah, I guess you're right. All right, I guess you want to say that. I guess so, but yeah, you think you'll ever try one of those? I wouldn't say it's gimmicky because a lot of people catch a lot of fish with them, so it's not like, I mean, it works, and so they say it works, and it helps with the memory and all that stuff that you were talking about earlier. But you think
Yeah, see the thing with inline reels, if you're in a shack and you're not fishing deep water, I think they're great because
okay.
they eliminate most of the line twist. That's just it. That's the main thing. Line twist is a big problem with like spinning reels.
Hmm.
Because even though I use a tiny swivel on my other rods, there's still it's your jig or whatever is still slowly spinning. I fish with spoons a lot, and that's not a big deal. But if you're fishing with like a tungsten, that thing's spinning. If you don't use a swivel, it's like this. It's a
Yeah.
disco ball.
I think you're right because maybe that was my issue because I don't catch as much, like you said, with like a jig or a plastic and a jig, or jig, period, some type of tungsten jig. I catch more like you were saying, like with a casty or a flutter spoon, or one of those things where, like you said, the memory doesn't really affect it as much because you're all about just a fluttering up and down, right? And I think, yeah, no, I think you're right. Maybe that could be a big issue if you're using jigs. And yeah, I didn't even think about that. That could be the main reason why I didn't catch too much with jigs. If it's like you're saying, it's spinning around in a circle, and I don't use a inline. But like you said, I mean, as long as you fish the depths that are shallow and inside, I think you're right. Inline's probably not a bad bet. It can definitely, you can see their advantages. I guess you know me in
Yeah, I
regards to
guess we
that.
could talk about like the cons a little bit with the inline reel. I never owned an inline reel, but I've seen people use it, and so the two things, maybe at least two things I don't like about the inline reels is my buddy had a Black Betty, which is like $100 ish
Hmm.
inline reel. So that's a pretty good chunk of change. If it was super cold outside, his reel would freeze up. Like he'd be reeling the spool is like freezes. I don't know what's going on.
Plasticky. It's what it is. Because those inlines sometimes they feel plasticky.
But
Um,
the Black Betty was like metal or
was
something.
it? But I know
It
what you
was
mean.
it was still freezing up,
Yeah.
and then I hear people say that they do that. I don't know, maybe with the new ones they kind of work those kinks out. That's why I was saying, when you're in a shack, it's not that big of a deal.
Hmm.
Another thing is I noticed if it's windy out and like the line comes off the spool easy, there's not like a what's the thing called on a spinning reel, like the line roller or whatever.
Hmm. Like
That
the
the bail, the
the bail,
bail,
the bail, the
yeah, the
guy it,
bail,
guides it. Yeah.
yeah, it keeps the line on the spool,
Hmm.
but like with the inline reel, you don't really have that. So when it's windy and if the wind catches your spool, I've seen people where it just
Yep.
uh,
It happened to me, and that second what you just said was my last straw, and that's why I no longer use an inline. I see people, like I said, catch it,
oh
they
yeah,
live
people
by it.
love them.
Yeah, they love them, they die by it. But that was my last straw. It was up at Clear Lake, and you guys were slamming the yellow bass, and I was catching yellow bass too. And then I switched to my power noodle pole, and I had an inline on that. The exact thing what you just said happened. So then when I caught one, I was like, can't wait to get it back down. But I'm reeling it, and it came off. I caught the fish, but then it got all tangled, and because you were reeling it. So it's like I just had to use a whole new pole because I was like, the amount of time for me to get the line, because it got so stuck into the reel and everything, and because it came off like you were saying. And I think from that point forward, I was like, man, it just kind of ruined my experience that moment. And I was like, and then the fish, and I don't think I even caught a fish after that. So that's why I was like, man, that sucks, because you guys are dropping it easily. You know what I mean? And it was all, with yellow bass, it's all about timing. When they're all down there, you got to get down there as soon as possible to get the fish. And then at that moment, I was like, oh, that sucks. So that's why I was like,
Yeah.
from that point forward, I just kind of went, you know what, spinning reel, it's fine. It works just for me. But like I said, it's all about preference, presentation, whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever you're most confident with, right?
Yeah, and spinning reels have their downsides too, like the line twist.
Hmm.
That's probably the biggest knock against spinning reels. But yeah, like the gear ratios are higher on spinning reels with the inline reels. It's 1-to-1, if I'm not mistaken. I think most of them are 1-to-1. So you do one turn of the crank, that's one turn of the spool, opposed to a spinning reel. You do one turn of the crank, the spool probably went, if it's like 5-to-1, then the spool went around 5 times to your one crank. It might not matter in shallow water. That's why I was saying, if you're in shallow water, not that big of a deal. Does it matter in 20 feet? Maybe. 50 feet, I'm pretty sure it matters more because then you'll be like reeling more. But
Yeah. Yeah,
that that's
that's one other thing. Yeah, it's shallow because of the deep. I think I fished in, I want to say like 30 some feet before, obviously. And if you have inline, you keep pulling it.
oh yeah.
It doesn't drop as fast as you know. Well, I don't know. Nowadays, I guess they have the click. I had one of those. I had those click, and it's supposed to
The
free
free
fall.
fall.
Yeah, I had one of those, and you had a tungsten. Um,
But if you
it-
got a big jig, that thing's gonna overspool. Kind of like a bait caster.
yeah. So that's what I mean. I'm like, it's one of those. That's why I kind of went away from it. It was just too many things that was going on with it that I was just like, I'm not that good already. I don't need to make it any more difficult than it should be trying to look pretty.
I mean, they look awesome on a
That's
reel.
I know, I agree with you. I think they're the best looking thing on I agree with you on that. But yeah, it's just, one of those things where I just whatever, man. Um, so you don't yeah, I want to go back a little bit. So you don't change any of your lines at all? Because I was doing that for the last 2 or 3 years and it gets expensive.
I was
No.
looking at it, I got plenty of line on my spools. I was like, man, should I change it? Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm gonna soak them in hot water, kind
Okay.
of get rid of some of that line twist. It's probably not gonna be as good as replacing, with fresh line or whatever.
Hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. If I'm out on the ice and that thing's a disco ball, then I'll change out my line. But I don't.
All
I,
right.
I feel like I don't need to.
Okay.
Or if I have a lot of breakoffs, yeah, I don't. I can't tell you what the like deteriorating rate of fluorocarbon is inside a. I wouldn't say a sealed case, but a protected case.
Yeah. Actually, can't be that much, right? I don't know.
Usually, you want to not expose them to the elements like the sun and moisture. That's what's going to ruin your lines the
Mhm.
most.
Okay.
But in the case, in my case, it's kind of weatherproof or not weatherproof, weather resistant. So
Hmm.
there shouldn't be too much moisture. Obviously, the sun's not gonna get in there. I think I'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
It-
probably wasting my money. I don't think I'm gonna try it this year because I think ever since we started ice fishing, like really focusing on gear and everything, I think I've been changing line every year, and I have
I honestly I used to too, but
okay.
to be real honest, I'm just lazy.
All right, everybody should. I want people to comment. Let us know what do you think. What do you guys recommend? Should we change? Do you actually? I want to know the people. Do you guys change your lines every year when you ice fish, or do you just go with it until like fishing gets in until you start seeing like frazzled lines or start getting breakoffs? Then you change it. I want to know because I hear so many it gets expensive. It's costly especially if like I have like what like 6, 7 custom poles that I try to reline, and it's time consuming, and it's just like you just said. I'm kind of
No,
lazy too.
yeah.
I'd rather not.
Here's the thing with ice fishing though. The little things matter more than in open water fishing.
What
Like
do you,
the little details, like maybe change your line out every season because you got that much more line twist. But I
it
don't
could
know.
make it.
We'll see.
No, you're right. Yeah, man. See, now you got me. Dang it! I'm changing it.
That's why I'm gonna wait until I get out on the ice and then really make an observation. Like I said, I like fishing with spoons more than with the tungsten jigs and whatnot
Mhm.
because well, I just like catching bigger fish.
Well, you still catch good panfish with spoons. You catch
Yeah.
quite.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you.
I'm less yeah, I use jigs less than I used to when I first started because I always thought the smaller the better. So I'm like, okay, I'm buying the tiniest things. As I've been fishing over the years, I learned that you don't have to go super tiny. You still have to downsize compared to like open water, but you can get away with what I think most people would consider aggressive baits for
Yeah.
ice fishing, like spoons. I like using spoons because you fish them fast.
Yeah, I agree with you. They drop faster. You can fish them fast. You can be aggressive. I like it. It feels more actiony, I guess. You're right in a way. No, I agree with you on that. What kind of rods are you using this year? Like types of noodle, carbon fiber. I mean, what kind of rods do you normally use, or what are you running this year?
My favorite rod to use is my walleye rod. It's a sake rod, carbon. It's like a walleye rod if I had to put a label on it, even though I catch more of everything else on it than walleyes.
So
And
you,
then I got a noodle for, if I want to just focus on panfish, and that's where I use those those jigs, those tungsten jigs. And even for the tungsten jigs, I fish with bigger jigs than what most people use. I
Mhm.
use a 5 millimeter, which is kind of on the heavy side.
Yeah.
And then let me see, what else do I got? Then I got two Whisker Seeker rods, and those are those are like my set lines.
Okay. Yes, I think yeah, I got like two or three power noodles, and I got like two or three, like you said, carbon. And just so people know the different, if you haven't seen, check out my other video. I kind of described the difference between a carbon and a power noodle. Um, Carbon is more about feel. I mean, it's one of the, you can feel the bite of any fish almost. Any nicks, anything. It's all about feel fishing. You can feel it through the whole rod. Power noodle, you can still feel it with the power noodles, but that's more of sight fishing. You can see the tip, like you can see up bites from crappies. You can see every little finicky bite. You can see it. The only reason why I have so many of each is because I'm lazy to tie when it's cold as hell. Different lures, so I have different lures for each pole. And I don't know if you can afford it. I mean, it's not that I could afford it. It was just because I was, I inherited a lot of hand-me-downs from my brother-in-laws on top of that. But then I also had, I went out and bought some of my own custom, my own rods and everything. But that was the biggest thing. It was so cold out. I was like, I don't want to take off my gloves and tie a new lure. So I might as well have 6 different poles with each lure. So like, all right, spoon's not working. I'm going to go and, I just grabbed the other pole that has a tungsten jig on it. Or I grabbed another one that has like a one of those flutter spoons or what.
See, I thought I was lazy.
Yeah. Well, it's cold, man. Come on. You know how it is. You take out the gloves, you try, and it's a freaking, dude, when it's freezing 0 minus 20 below with the windshield and everything, you try.
Yeah, if the wind's blowing, oh man.
You don't want to tie, lures, and that's the one thing about I think that was my biggest draw into ice fishing was because there's really no retying stuff. It's not so. This is the thing. So I tell a lot of people my biggest pro for ice fishing. There's no snagging. Like this, very, very, very rare. It's one of the rarest things I've ever seen, and may have happened maybe once in the past 7-8 years that I've been ice fishing. If you snag something, because it's very rare unless you're fishing over structure.
I was gonna say you don't fish enough. You don't fish enough structure. That's why.
Unless you're fishing over structure and you really attack that structure, in which the fish are in there, so I guess that happens. But
yeah, they'll pull you in the structure if you're fishing next to a brush pile. You can't help it. The fish, they'll pull you in there sometimes.
It happens, but it's very rare. So I think that's the cool thing is like you don't have to retie a lot, and I actually enjoy that because you spend more time fishing versus tying. Because I think open water, I spend probably about 30-40% of my time. What am I going to tie and whatever, especially
if retying sucks.
Yes,
ain't gonna lie.
It does, and that's the best part. Like I said, ice fishing is like it's minimal. You can agree with that.
Yeah, you're not retying as much. You're only retying. Well, I can't say only. You're mostly retying because you want to switch up your presentation.
Yep, and that's so. If everybody's listening to this, I don't know when we're going to release this episode, but make sure you guys follow us. I mean, I think Fishing Kid and myself, we actually signed up for the Yellow Bass Bonanza up there in Clear Lake, Iowa. I think recently we checked and they're still accepting registration. So go see us, man. Go see us up there. If you guys can come have a beer with us. I don't think you can have beer during the tournament, but before or after the tournament, if you guys see us, come have a beer and drink with us. Come talk to us. Show us some of your yellow bass skills and show us your secret spot. So then maybe we can win the tournament and say, yes, we won something, or, whatever the case may be. So are you excited for that, man? Is this,
I'm nervous, man. Never fished a tournament before. Just the sheer size was intimidating. It was like the biggest tournament in Iowa, period. Like whether that's open water or ice fishing. But this year they had to downsize due to COVID and whatnot. So it's 100 teams.
Yeah.
I think before it was 200 last year.
50. At one point they got up to 250 and they're still selling out. They were selling out. I think last year, I think they cut it down to I don't know if it was 200, 250 around there, but you're right. They cut it down to 100 due to COVID. I think Kevin up there, Kevin Paul, he was on our podcast. Make sure you guys check his episode was awesome with us. Great.
Yeah, I'll link that. Yeah. I'll link that stuff.
And he did say they are possibly leaving an additional 100 if the city and if, because it's a couple months down the road from, when we obviously recording this, but when from registration till then, it's a couple months. They don't know if they're going to allow them to have more or not, so they'll wait and see on that. And but it's exciting because they have a big bash, and right now, I don't know if they're going to even have the bash yet. They're still that was still up limbo right now due to COVID and everything. So we'll see. But like you said, man, I'm excited. This is going to be my second turn. I did an ice. I don't do any open water fishing tournament because I suck. And ice fishing, I still suck at it, but at least I have a chance, I guess. I feel like, but this is the one that I really want to. I mean, whether we do good or not, obviously we want to do good, but I'm just excited to be a part of it because, like Fishing Kid was just saying, it's the biggest fishing tournament in Iowa. Everybody comes for this because of not just the prizes, but it's the camaraderie and just having everybody around, that whole ice fishing community up there. And the biggest thing is that you definitely support the local businesses up there in Clear Lake. I mean, Clear Lake, it's a great city up there in northern Iowa, but this bash, I think I was talking to Kevin before, this tournament, the Yellow Bass Bonanza, it brings in so much money because people from all over the country, all over the state come there, whether it's hotel, restaurants, just businesses. And it's this day and age with COVID and everything, I want to be able to help and support small businesses all over state of Iowa, anywhere we go. So I'm pretty excited about that. So hopefully we do good, man. Hopefully we don't end in the last, or at least we can at
Oh,
least
as,
finish.
as long as we're not last, and as long as we can weigh in fish, that'll be the main things for me. And it would be nice to win a prize. See, the thing about the YBB is you don't have to fish well to win prizes. They got prizes spread out. They give out prizes,
Yeah.
every few number of teams or whatever.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah, the biggest thing, a lot of people think that you have to win to win the big prize because they give away like ATVs and all this stuff in the past couple of years. They were giving away, I think, Garmin like Panoptics and stuff before, and they gave away like ATVs. But the thing is, what people don't realize, especially, you don't have to win or be the top 5 teams to win those prizes. Those prizes are actually raffled away for all the
Yeah.
people, and that was the biggest thing that Kevin told us, was that those huge prizes, everybody has a chance that registers and are a team because it's raffled away. There's no competition to win those big prizes, which is, I think, that is badass. That makes the tournament itself worth it. That there's no pressure in that sense to try and win so you can win that top prize when the top prize is raffled away to just being a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think by the time this episode airs, I'm pretty confident that all the teams will be filled up.
Possibly, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a good chance. It usually fills up pretty quick
Yeah, it is. So if not, if you okay, so this thing is, if you didn't get a chance to register this year, make sure you guys register for next year. I think,
next year.
yeah, and if we do well, or if we, and we're gonna record an episode up there. Fishing Kid and myself, we're just talking. We're like, we want to do this and we want to experience it, and we really want to help promote it and get the word out about that. So we're definitely gonna record an episode, and yeah, I'm. You know what, I just excited. So make sure you guys, if you don't get in this year, get in for next year. If not, just go up there and fish. This is the one thing too. You don't have to be in the tournament to ice fish that weekend up in Clear Lake. It would probably be beneficial for you, obviously, to be in a tournament, but you can fit. I've seen people who go in there and fish, that aren't even part of the tournament, or you just want to go and fish and just hang out and stuff. But like I said, come up, hang out,
Yeah.
have a beer with us, come talk to us, meet us a little bit, and hopefully we do well, man. I'm excited, dude.
Yeah, I'll record videos for my normal content. I think I should do like a whole series on it because I never fished a tournament before. Kind of talk about what my game plan and thoughts and how I'm gonna tackle my first tournament. I should do like a little series for that.
Yeah, you should. Well, I mean, do a 2 or 3 part series. That'd be kind of
Yeah.
cool. Kind of how we prep, and then how you prep and whatever, and then you can throw in. We can do the behind the scenes of us recording a podcast real quick, and then just the tournament day itself. But don't focus on the recording during the tournament day, please.
I'll
Focus
just
on.
have my GoPro like
Oh,
strapped to my chest.
that'd be perfect, dude. Nah, man. I have an idea. We're gonna have to. I got an idea because I think we don't have a snowmobile. That's gonna put us into a disadvantage. We might have to talk to Trey.
Like, see, what I was saying is like everyone's gonna be on machines. Like they're gonna
So true.
drive the fish away from them because they're being all super loud. Since we're walking, we're quiet. The fish are gonna come towards us.
I hope so. We'll see. We'll see if we're gonna walk or not. We'll figure some things out.
If we have to walk, no big deal.
Yeah, and that's a cool thing. So everybody should know, like, oh, I don't have a snowmobile, I don't have a ATV. People actually walk and ice fish this tournament, and that's fine. And if you never ice fish Clear Lake, a lot of places it's accessible walking wise. It's no big deal. I don't know where they're gonna launch though this year. It all depends probably on the ice quality and everything. But it should be fine in February. So we're just kind of curious where they're gonna launch. So we'll see.
I got some new gear.
Oh.
I'm excited.
Are
I'm
you gonna tell?
excited.
Are you gonna tell anybody here yet? It's we're launch. This episode will be in February, right? Oh no, in a January, February-ish.
All right.
You can probably tell.
Since we're talking about gear, I don't have it set up yet, but I got a live scope. Oh, well, I'm piecing together live scope. Currently, if everything goes to plan, I should have it all ready to go, and I should have been fishing with it already by the time this episode airs. But right now, due to USPS shipping limbo, I'm missing a few parts, so I can't put everything together. I got I got the graph, the live scope, transducer, and whatnot, but my shuttle bag and transducer pole is on its way, arriving late, according to USPS. I was supposed to get it on Monday. Today, we're recording this on a Thursday, and I have no idea where it's at.
So just so everybody knows, you see how excited he is about the live scope. I'm just as excited because he's getting because I want to see it in that because this is the, I see so many damn YouTube channel people, see so many people have live scope. I can't afford it at the moment because I'm still, my wife don't listen to this. I'm gonna upgrade my kayak. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna upgrade my kayak. My wife probably has, she'll know probably once she sees it. So it's one of those things. But it was either, see, I was thinking in my head, I was like, am I going to get live scope or I'm going to upgrade my kayak? I have a fish finder on my kayak already. I have a flasher for winter. I'm like, okay, I can at least upgrade my kayaks. And then I'll hopefully one day I can get the live scope once I can afford it. But in the meantime, I'm gonna partner up with this guy whenever he goes ice fishing now.
I just want to put out there, I'm not rich because this is one expensive piece of equipment. It's all in all, it's gonna be $2,400. That ain't cheap.
It's not.
But I sold a fishing camera. I sold my flasher. I've sold an ice auger. I guess that's kind of a wash because I bought a new ice auger. But I'm liquidating a few things to pay for this.
Makes sense.
And so it's like just it's killing me the wait for the freaking the shuttle in the bag because I should have had it by the time this podcast airs. I should have a video of me putting it together and whatnot, but I've yet to film that video because I can't put it together. It's driving me nuts.
I hear you, man. Here, man, I gotta crack another one. Cheers to you for live scope. I'm actually super, like I said, I'm beyond excited, man. I want to see this thing in action. I think it's completely game changer in regards to, like you were saying, it's information, more information as for us anglers. So I think that's it's gonna be cool. So this beer I'm doing, this is one of my favorite stouts, by the way. I'm doing Westo Cocoa Stout in this one. So, it's winter time. Love me a little stout during the winter time. So, but yeah, man, that's gonna be. And then you just talk about your the new auger. What kind of auger did you get?
Before I get to the auger, live scope's cool. Yeah, no doubt. If you watch videos of live scope, you see the fish coming up, bite the lure. It won't make the fish bite your lure though.
No, but it helps.
Here's my thoughts. Like people are like, fishing regulations are gonna have to change and blah blah blah. And maybe I don't know yet. We'll see when I actually get it in my hands. Yeah, it won't make the fish bite, but it'll eliminate a lot of the guesswork. And with fishing, a lot of it's guessing.
The only thing I could see how people feel that it could change regulations is because the live scope shows you the size of the fish. So,
well, it shows you the fish, like period.
Yeah.
Like with the flasher, let's compare it to a regular flasher real quick. Okay. If you're trying to find fish, that's half the battle, finding the fish, right?
Yes, yeah.
With the live scope, basically half the battle's won already. right?
Yeah, because you know where you know where the
Exactly.
fish are at.
So, yeah, finding the fish is half the battle. With live scope, it minimizes you searching for the fish. So that means you'll be spending more time actually trying to catch the fish versus trying to find them. And that's the big thing that I see about it.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, like you say, I don't think they're going to change regulations, but a lot, like you're saying, I've read some forums and comments, people thinking that it's cheating or I don't think so. Like you said, it's not going to help you catch fish. It's going to help you
It's gonna help
locate.
you find the fish.
That's about it.
But that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
Yeah. You're right.
Fishing is half of fishing is finding them.
Hey,
And then
man.
if you can find them like 9 out of 10 times, hey, like I'm not going against live scope because I got it.
We'll see. It's out now. We'll see because I see a lot more people are purchasing it. We'll see in the next year or two how much
Yeah,
it.
when it becomes mainstream,
Yeah.
it might be up there with the it might affect regulations. Like when a live scope costs $400, then yeah. But right now, there's a high barrier of entry.
That'll deal costs 400. Well, you never know. Maybe in 10 years. I can see not anytime soon. I don't
And
see it
then
going.
we'll have whatever in 10 years, like whatever next big thing, like live scope HD, where you see like the scales on a fish or something.
You know what's gonna happen in 10, 15 years? We're gonna have glasses where you could it's the glasses itself, you're gonna be able to see where the fish are at.
Yeah, like
Well,
wirelessly
yes.
transmit to
I,
some glasses that you're wearing.
I don't know how we got to this point, but I agree. I really think I could see that happening in like 15 years. Somebody's gonna come. See, somebody's gonna listen to this freaking episode, kid. That's probably a genius or knows how to program. They're like, holy crap, that's a great idea. You can create sunglasses that are fish finders.
Mm.
Imagine that. If you have sunglasses, I don't know how you can use that, obviously, ice fishing, but at least open water. If you can create sunglasses that are fish finders for open water, holy crap.
If
And,
anything, it'd be a display for your graph. Let's
yep.
say you have a graph already with transducer.
Dude, that'd be
If anything, it'll send the graph screen to your sunglasses or something. That way, you don't even have to look down at your graph.
Dude.
You just fish.
All right, you know what? We might have to cut that part out. That's a free. We might have to patent that idea, kid.
I'm too smart. I know. I'm too smart.
But think about that though. You're right. What if it's wirelessly connected to your glasses, and then you're like you're saying you got a deucer, on ice. You just stick it in, then you're just like, oh, I'll just fish right here, and then you just fish because it's on your glasses. You can see it. It's like Google.
I can see that
Google
happening.
glasses. Yeah, I can.
I can see that happening.
Yeah. So we'll see. Well, I don't know. Whoever's listening to this, they're probably like, holy shit. Yeah, it makes sense. It can happen. That'll be the next generation. But like you said, have you seen the other what's the other company that has the competitive thing to live scope? Is it Hummingbird or
Lowrance just
yeah.
launched it, or I wouldn't say they just launched it, but they just released their info on it. The live target. They came out with something called Live Sight, which was I never like seen it in action, but I've seen like videos and stuff. It was kind of like a janky live scope, but now they got live target, which is more comparable to what live scope does. And then Hummingbird's coming out with Mega Live, which is supposed to launch in like March. Garmin doesn't have a monopoly on that market anymore, which I think it's a good thing. I'm not one of those. They're like, there's dudes out there. There's just diehard like fanboys, just straight up fanboys. I'll call them fanboys. They got your Vexilar guys, and there's Garmin guys, like Hobie guys, which is all products that I own. But I'm not like married to a brand like these guys are. Like they're like it's kind of obnoxious, honestly, if you ask me. Like everybody likes their brands.
Yeah,
but
and it's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. But like some guys are like die hard. They're like, oh, I'll only buy Vexilar or die.
Or die. It's okay though. You know what? I can at least you can at least appreciate the loyalty. I'll give them that.
Brand loyalty is fine, but competition is good. It's good for
Yes.
everybody. Competition drives innovation, and it also drives prices.
Yes.
Because if Garmin's the only one with this stuff, they could charge whatever they want, and then they could basically, instead of trying to innovate on it, like if let's say Lowrance or Hummingbird doesn't come up with an answer, which they have, but how that turns out is up for debate in the future, or left to be seen, I should say, not debate.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I agree with you, especially the innovation part. Like if you don't have another company that can compete, I mean, why would you even want to create something better? you
yeah, they
you
could
ready?
just keep releasing like barely like incremental updates and then
Yeah.
charge like extra $400 for it.
Yeah. But if they know somebody down the road working their butts off to create something better than yours, then you're gonna work harder to create. So no, I agree with you. I think they innovate, especially innovation. Obviously, pricing, is gonna help on that. But I think the innovation part is cool because seeing this stuff. I mean, when did we get into this? About 7, 8. I got into ice fishing about 8 years ago or so, 9 years ago,
I'm
just
gonna
to
say
see.
at least, well, maybe a couple years after you got into it, I got into it.
Yeah, and just to see how incredible the technology is, not just from fish finding. Look at all the augers from when we started. You know what I'm saying? Like the hand augers, and back then it was like nothing but gas augers. That was like, oh, that was top of the line gas auger. Now it's like what you just got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I guess we could talk about that a little bit. I got a light flight from Strike Master. It's a composite. I guess it's plastic. Yeah, it's basically
Hmm.
plastic. It's a super light. I think the auger weighs. Hold on. Time out. Let me go look at it. I got the box right behind me.
It must be nice. Oh, you haven't even opened it.
Hey everybody, Fishy Kid here, and really quick before we continue, I just want to remind you that Whisker Seeker is still running their BFF promo on their fishing line. So if you want to stock up on some fishing line for the summer, hop on over to whiskerseeker.com, use coupon code BFF25_line to save 25% from now through January 31st, 2021. All right, time in. I got the 8 inch. I debated whether I wanted an 8 or 6 inch.
Mhm.
Uh, because I was running a 7 inch. I felt like, man, I can't go back to a 6 inch after running a 7 inch because I feel like 7 inch was perfect for fish in Iowa. It's
I
like
think so.
not too small, 6 inch is plenty though. You
Mhm.
can fish most fish, or you can catch most fish with a 6 inch. But 7 inch was, just gives you the extra little room for bigger fish like catfish or those wipers. It's pretty tight with the 6 inch hole, and with catfish you might not be able to pull
It's
up the
true.
bigger ones with the 6 inch. But so I went with the 8 inch, and the 8 inch one only weighs 5.4 pounds.
Wow, that's pretty light. But like you said, those things are pretty cool though, because if they ever break off, you can replace those plastic parts, right?
Yeah, you can replace the thing with the light flight. It comes in sections.
Yeah.
So, people say the fluting, I think that's what it's called, the spiral parts.
Uh-huh.
So people always say, if it's super cold, those are gonna break and blah blah blah. But thing with the light flight, it comes in sections. The pistol bit might be the same way.
Hmm.
So I guess if you ever damage or ruin one of those, the fluting, I'm gonna keep saying that word because I think that's the right word. So if you ever damage, or yeah, if you ever damage or need to replace those, it comes in sections, so you can replace a section.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I can't. Like I said, I want to try it out. I can't wait to see how it does and everything. So, but and the biggest thing is I think my goal. I want to catch catfish. You gotta get me on. So, obviously, this podcast, everything is sponsored by with Whisker Seeker. I got my Whisker Seeker rods. I'm loading them up. So, fishing kid, you better get me on some catfish this year, man. I gotta land them. I'm excited to see if I can land any of those catfish, man. I really want to be able to catch those catfish. So that's my biggest goal this year, man. What's yours, man? Last one.
My biggest goal.
Biggest goal for ice fishing right now.
Hmm.
It could happen by the time this is released. It could happen. So I want to
And
know what.
yeah, your goal. I bet odds are your goal would have happened by the time this airs.
Cool. I hope so, but we'll see.
For me, I gotta think about this one a little bit.
You gotta have a good goal, man. Gotta have a good. Yeah, you gotta have an ice fishing goal every year. I think last year it was catfish for you, and you
It was
got it.
catfish,
Yeah.
and I
So
did, and I did pretty good on catfish.
yeah.
I don't know, just continuing. I can't narrow it down to one thing,
It doesn't even have to
honestly.
be. Yeah, I don't think continuing catching what you've been catching. I guess.
Like, or continuing, like, refining my techniques, I guess. Like if
Sounds.
I can if I can reproduce catching catfish like that through the ice again, I'd be happy. Or catching wipers.
Mm-hmm.
If I could refine all that stuff and like actually be confident. Like right now, I got one catfish season under my belt for ice fishing.
Hmm.
I'm not confident that I could be like, yeah, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go catch catfish.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. No, I mean that you sound like a true fisherman right there. You want to get better. You want to get better. No, no. I mean, like you want to get better at your techniques and everything, and fine tune everything. So that's cool. That's
Yeah, if I
badass,
could
man.
take what I learned last season and apply it this season and be successful, I
That's
think
good.
yeah, that's my goal. That's
That's
my
a
goal.
that's a legit goal, man. No, that's true. I think you can do it. So you have to do it because then you'll help me get on catfish.
Yeah.
So
If I get apply, only caught those catfish at one lake. If I apply that to other lakes,
I
then
like
then
that.
I would call that a success.
Cool. All right, sounds good, man. All right, dude. So other than that, we'll do. We're gonna have some more guests and everything on our podcasts, guys. So make sure you guys follow us. Follow us on our Instagram. Follow Fishing Kit on his YouTube channel. All his he should be showing a bunch of ice fishing videos here. And just like I said, subscribe. Let us know. Comment what you guys want us to talk about. Who you guys want us to try and get as guests. I mean, we've been having a lot of luck, a lot of great luck, and a lot of people just coming on our podcast, and it's been a blast, man. So I'm super excited to see what the rest of 2021 brings for Beerfish Fanatics, and also I'm excited to see what Fishing Kit has in store for his his YouTube channel and everything. And hopefully by the time this airs, he will be at 1,000 subs. All right.
I hope so,
If
man.
so, right now, this is the bet. Right now, I'm putting this right now. When this airs, if Fishing Kit is not at 1,000 subs, I will do a beer and 2 donkey kicks.
How about you should flip it? If I am at 1,000, then you do. Because then
Okay. Okay.
if I'm not, then like people like, why would we want to
That's a
subscribe
that's
if
a
I want to see that stuff?
yeah, that's a dumbass bet. See, that's why we have him. All right, good bet. All right, so if we're at a, how about that? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, what we'll do is, if you're at 1,000 subscribers by the time this launches or this episode releases, we'll do shotgun. We'll shotgun a beer, and it can be a crappy beer. I don't care. I mean, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Spearfish Fanatics, and the crazy thing is, we'll shotgun a beer and we'll record an episode.
All right, I'll do it. I'll do it for 1,000 subs. I'll shotgun a beer.
There you go.
FYI, full disclosure, I do not slam beers. I hate shotguns. I've shotgunned one beer in like 5 years. Oh, it was awful, terrible.
So you guys can hold us to it. So hopefully when this airs, you guys will see. We'll see. We'll look down below. Does he have 1,000 subs? We will shotgun a beer, man. So other than that, man, cheers. Till next time.
All right, see you guys.
But oh yeah, I'm thirsty, man. I'm not gonna lie. Kids are driving me nuts, dude. It's like love them, but they're driving me nuts. I'm not gonna lie, man. This homeschooling and working at home full time and doing all this is like it's insanity. And
because usually you want to, I gotta stop saying in the what's the word I'm trying to, the team stack or something. I don't know. Is that
I don't know,
basically